impact of music. I'm going to show you my audience real quick. How many of you have a certain song that makes you happy, sad, reminiscent? How many of your friends have the same music taste as you? Has music ever worked as a therapeutic relief for some of you? Today I will be discussing how music can affect us on our day-to-day lives. Some professionals have proven that music can actually bump up our moods. So I will be discussing how that can play a role in the way we communicate, how we personally grow, and our culture. The first point that I will be talking about is how music serves different purposes for different cultures. So for example, in the 1960s and 70s, it created a whole new genre of music, a whole new group, because of protests that were going on with the Vietnam War. This following quote states that during the 1960s and 1970s, music played a large role in the counterculture movement and reflected society's views on the Vietnam War. This further reinforces how music can join people together as a whole and create completely new groups and different perspectives as well. And music can also serve as a time capsule for different movements such as these. For example, the decade of pop, culture, jazz, these were all huge revolutionary cultural resets, all thanks to music, including language, the way they dress, etc. The following quote states that there's nothing quite like a song to capture what was going on culturally at the time. And like a time capsule, it's captured for eternity. The slang and language usage are so indicative of the times that you can probably recall exactly when the song was made based on what is mentioned. A good example of this is the infamous song Apple Bottom Jeans. You obviously associated with the late 90s, the early 2000s, where tracksuits and low-rise jeans were popular. Music serves as a way to remind you of all these trends that came and went. It also opens you up to different perspectives, such as different topics, and helps you understand different cultural settings. It's really flexible and it's really universal as well because it's a meeting point for every culture, even if there is certain barriers. It can also merge cultures. For example, there's various Hispanics who are into the African American rap genre and vice versa. It's also a very large intellectual factor in culture. It's based on personal beliefs and preferences. A good example of this is the huge K-pop rave that's going on across the world right now. It's in a language most of these cultures don't even understand, but they still are really interested and prefer this music over any other genre, even though they don't necessarily have to understand Korean. And this also enforces how music can link to personal preferences. Music also has a large impact on communication. It helps you relate to others based on what genres you like. So if you have a similar music taste, you're most likely to get along with someone who shares that music taste with you. Because you perceive it similarly and you most likely have certain perspectives that you share. The following quote states that the listeners themselves can also influence how they perceive music. Listeners use their own individual and social identity to interpret what they hear. These include features like their personality, age, their personal knowledge of music, and what motivated them to listen to it in the first place. This chart just shows how genre is linked to personality, which also enforces why you're most likely to get along with people who share the same music taste as you. It also allows an expression of emotion. The following quote states that music's rhythm can also communicate a number of emotions based on the rhythm or the melody. So you can probably infer based on what people like if it's sad music or happy music, you can infer that they're in that state of mind, most likely. It can also be reflected on situations and can add to how you experience that situation. So just imagine amusement parks and movies without music. It wouldn't be the same as how you see it with or without music. So it makes it more memorable because you can link music with the experiences that you have and it links to your memory. Like this quote says that context, which is situation, can change the way emotion communicated through music. Certain aspects of a performance, particularly its setting, have a huge impact on the emotional quality. The same song performed at a wedding and funeral will have vastly different meanings and emotions for the listeners. So the comparison between the wedding and the funeral just shows how you can link music with different situations. It also helps communicate messages, better feelings, and to have a broader understanding of different peoples and different cultures. The following quote states that music has been used to communicate in a variety of different ways all across human history and culture. It's one of our oldest and most universal forms of communication because we all feel the same emotions and can identify them in music from other cultures. And it breaks down cultural differences and communicates in a way that we all understand. So even if there is a barrier, language barrier, culture barrier, we can all relate back to music no matter what is stopping us between that. The following quote states that it provides a means by which people can share emotions, intentions, and meanings, even through their spoken languages may be mutually incomprehensible. So even if there is barriers, we can still create a bond through music, and it helps bring us together. Music is also a healthy distraction. It helps us refrain from bad habits, it helps us zone out, it helps induce positive mood changes. And the following quote states that music therapy seems to reduce depressive symptoms and anxiety and helps to improve functioning, aka like jobs, activities, and relationships. And it's also therapeutic. It helps you feel more understood because music, unlike people, doesn't judge you. And it's actually used in hospitals as a therapy. The Oxford study states that music can also provide a vital lifeline to human interaction for those whose special needs make other means of communication difficult. This goes back to the barrier. Even if there is a language barrier or communication barrier, music can help us bring us together. And it's also been proven to relieve chronic pain. Music is a natural stress reliever. It helps the brain calm down. And the UNR study shows that upbeat music can make you feel more optimistic and positive about life. That just goes to show that it can help you go through things easier and less stress-free. And it also helps with behavioral problems and emotional issues, and it also helps calm you down with slower breathing. Music also stimulates brain and ups productivity. It helps you be more energetic, especially when working or working out. Daniel Levitin states that music can make repetitive tasks more pleasurable and increase your concentration with the task. So it helps up your relaxation, efficiency, and helps you work through things more stress-free. In conclusion, I hope I have shed light on all the various ways music impacts our day-to-day lives. Music is linked to many positive links between our personal issues, culture, and our means of communication. So remember to always listen around. Music is helpful in so many ways, and the spectrum is huge, and it's our universal link that we all share. Thank you.